Alright, listen up. Scarlet and Violet have been out for 2 months now, and everyone who's beaten the story has moved on to either shiny hunting or raids. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the latter. Everyone's out here trying to sell you their different raid builds, but instead of catching you the fish, I'm going to teach you how to make your own raid Pokemon. A raid Pokemon needs to do two things, and it's very important that it does both of these things. The first thing is survive. If you're dying every turn, you're no good to anyone, and honestly, why even play? I get that some people want to use their favorites, and if you just want to do 4 and 5 star raids, then use whatever you want. But this is about how to build for 6 and 7 star raids. They're a big jump up in difficulty, and you can't just bring your starter that's completely untrained at level 80 to a 6 or 7 star raid. You're going to die, and you're going to cause everyone their problems. But if you're just also going and looking up online what to build for a 7 star raid, you're not going to understand what makes it good. And a lot of the time that's going to hamper you, and you're going to be clinging onto these people for their input for everything. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what makes a raid Pokemon good, and then maybe you'll be able to, make your own. So, the second thing a raid Pokemon needs to do is use relevant moves. It's not enough to just survive. You have to be able to do something that matters to the fight. A lot of people are very frustrated by what it's like to raid with randoms, because people just show up and do any old thing. They'll attack, because everyone wants to be the hero, and do the most damage, and be the one who's the MVP and pick up the kill. But that's not helpful to anyone. A lot of times you'll end up making the shield come up early, and that'll ruin the whole plan for everyone. The raid boss will start spamming moves, they'll throw the whole game off, and anyone who has a plan, their plan will be out the window. So, what are relevant moves? Well, relevant moves are things that either boost the offense of your damage carry, nerf the defense of the raid boss, or protect your party against things the raid boss is doing. Moves like Safeguard that prevent your party from being statused. Moves like Fairy Terrain, Psychic Terrain, Electric Terrain. These things will boost the damage of your damage carry if they're using the relevant type, and they'll protect you from statuses. Electric Terrain preventing sleep, Fairy Terrain preventing elemental statuses, and Psychic Terrain preventing you from being damaged by priority attacks. Other relevant moves are things like Screech and Fake Tears, which make it so that way the raid boss loses whole chunks of their defense, so you're going to do significantly more damage when the damage carry is ready to pick up the kill. I've got a few builds right here on hand I can show you. You don't need to use my builds, but this is a few examples of things that are relevant. You can see here I've got this Umbreon, it's got Fake Tears, Reflect, Helping Hand, and Moonlight. So in a 5-turn strat, I'll come in and I'll turn 1 use Reflect. I'll use Fake Tears 3 turns in a row to get that special defense down to -6, and then use the Helping Hand on the damage carry, who should just be finished boosting up their attack. This will give them an additional 50% damage bonus, and if everything goes off without a hitch, we pick up the kill. This, of course, is assuming that we have good teammates. For a build like my Kingambit here, the better support build is to then teach your Umbreon Screech instead. So, go into my Remember Moves, take Screech, replace Fake Tears. Now I can use turn 1 to Reflect, 3 turns of Screeching, and then Helping Hand. Now, as you can see, this is a basic build. This is just for Greninja, which is why it has the Zen Headbutt and the Psychic Terra. This will be used for a lot of other raids too, though. You can bring it for almost any raid that's going to be weak to one of these 3 types. Weakness isn't super important, honestly. You don't need that extra multiplier to pick up the kill when you've got 3 Sword Dances and 3 Screeches with a Helping Hand bonus, but it will definitely help. Another example of a relevant move, as you can see here on my Hydreigon, I have Taunt. Taunt makes it so that way the enemy can't use status moves. This will protect you from Yawn, this will protect you from Spore, this will protect you from Thunder Wave, or it'll protect you from the enemy Taunt. An enemy taunt is a huge issue when you're trying to use status moves like these. Screens are also huge. It's also nice to have different builds for different situations. I understand that not everyone has the resources to make 2 of every Pokemon for each of its different types. Like you can see here, I've got 2 Iron Hands. This one is my Electric type Terra, which is more about Thunder Punching and Electric Terrain. This one's my Fighting type Terra. You can see I've ditched Thunder Punch, and this one's going to be for things that are weak to fighting, and I'll bring them appropriately to what I'm expecting to fight. Now, if you want a more generic build, that's why I have these 2 Umbreons. This Umbreon is made for Charizard specifically, and I ended up making it just a special defense wall for a lot of special attacking raids. This one, on the other hand, is split defenses, and this way it can handle a wider variety of different raids. I've also taught it many of the same moves, so that way I can come in here and set it up custom based on what I'm expecting to fight. If you just spend your whole life building what other people are telling you to build, you're not going to understand necessarily what makes a good build, and you're going to be asking people all the time. So you might want to experiment with your own stuff. I recommend going to Serebii.net and looking at certain Pokemon. You're definitely going to want things with a base defense of 70 or above. So that way you're looking at 210 or higher defense at level 100, with or without investment. A lot of people look at what to do, but I'll show you something that you've never seen. This was my build for a carry for the Cinderace raids, for when I was working with randoms. This thing is fantastic. Now, a lot of people say, oh, it's Alamola, whatever, it's a random fish, no one cares about it, but look at that HP stat. Nothing boasts survivability like 300 defense and 500 health. This set is a generic set that I've been using for 6-star raids, skill swapping off pesky abilities like competitive, or what's the other one? Defiance. Those are very annoying abilities that turn strategies like fake tier strategies off, because every time you use fake tiers, you're boosting the offense of the Pokemon, and it's going to get you killed. So when you use a move like Skill Swap, you take that ability off, and then you can go in with a Chilling Water and reduce their attack essentially to nothing, which also works while the shield is up, which is a great carry for randoms who are always proccing that shield on you. Here are examples of a couple of basic Pokemon that I made right off the bat. These are not great carries. As you can see, they're solely focused on reducing the defense of the enemy and then trying to pick up the kill. These are great for 4-star raids, but 5 and 6-star raids are a whole other thing. I'll be making more videos getting more in depth into specific builds and different roles in raids, but this is a good way to get started. Prioritize defense, prioritize being relevant, and have a good day.